You know, every year, Tennessee ranks among the worst states for fire deaths.
That's why you often hear you need a smoke detector to protect your family. But a new Channel 5 investigation discovered not all detectors are equal. In fact, the most common type has an alarming rate of failure. Our consumer investigator, Jennifer Krause, found one family who wishes they'd know the difference.
This is the way Amanda Deputy wants to remember her kids. The way they lived.
Oh, how cruel.
Not the way they died.
You're not supposed to bury your children. Your children are supposed to bury you. And I buried 4. 911. I'm a fire in my home.
Deputy remembers waking up that night last February and being surrounded by thick black smoke.
It just literally burnt your lungs as you suck it in.
Do you know what's on fire?
On the hallway upstairs. I'm upstairs. The fuse box is sparking.
Deputy says she tried to get upstairs where 4 of her 5 kids had been sleeping, but she couldn't get through the flames.
Absolute panic. Absolute. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have one child.
Deputy, her husband, and their 3-year-old son managed to make it out. Her 4 other children did not. Mandy, JT, Sinjin, and Shelby all died in the fire. But autopsies later showed it wasn't the actual flames that killed them. Instead, all 4 died from smoke inhalation, long before the flames began to spread.
At what point did you hear your smoke detector?
Never. They never went off.
And Deputy now believes she knows why her family never heard any sort of warning, even though there were 3 smoke alarms in the house.
We just had your average generic smoke detector that you can buy at any basic store.
In fact, they're the same kind of smoke detector that most people have in their homes. They're called ionization smoke detectors, and what they do best is sound off when there are actual flames. The problem is, studies have found ionization detectors can have trouble detecting, believe it or not, smoke.
These cases keep me up at night.
Jay Fleming is a deputy fire chief with the Boston Fire Department, and he's become an outspoken critic of ionization detectors because he says they often fail to work in smoky, smoldering fires.
And the smoldering fires, they always occur while people are asleep.
And that, he says, is when you need your smoke alarm the most.
When the detector finally does go off, the ion detector, they wake up, they're trapped by the smoke, and eventually they die from carbon monoxide.
My family was gone.
No alarm,
No.
letting you and your family know that you had to get out.
In fact, our investigation found consumers have filed literally hundreds of complaints about ionization detectors, how in smoke-filled rooms, their detectors failed to go off. Recently, a family who lost 2 relatives at a house fire in upstate New York won a $7 million verdict against a smoke detector manufacturer. And in Crossville, 2 children died in a house fire in the middle of the night after their detector didn't sound an alert. In that case, the manufacturer settled a lawsuit with the family instead of going to trial.
I am convinced that that scenario is repeated over and over again in this country.
And this is JT.
In fact, Chief Fleming believes thousands of people have died, like the deputy children, in fires where their ionization detectors have failed to go off.
It's a tragedy and it's a disgrace.
But what's even more tragic, he says, is that a different kind of smoke alarm, called a photoelectric detector, actually might have saved many of these lives.
The photoelectric isn't going to save everybody, but I think the potential savings is huge.
Tests show photoelectric detectors usually go off in smoke-filled rooms much sooner than ionization detectors. Yet photoelectric detectors generally only cost a few bucks more.
Even at this extra cost, I think if most people knew the difference, they would gladly pay the price.
I would have spent the money.
An amended deputy says because she didn't know there was a difference in smoke detectors,
Merry Christmas, everybody.
she's now lost something you can't put a price on.
I will never get another hug. I will never get another paper from school. There will never be another Christmas where I have 5 faces truly excited to see what's on the tree.
And tomorrow night, we will show you just how much of a difference there is between the 2 types of smoke detectors
as we put them to the test. And it really is amazing, Kristen.
Your heart breaks for that family, Jennifer. You know, and smoke detectors look so similar. How can you tell which one you have in your house?
Well, odds are you have an ionization, but to be sure, just take a look at the ionization or the detector. Ionization detectors have a small eye on the front or back. They may also have a radioactive symbol or a reference to radioactive material on it. And if you get false alarms when you cook, you probably have an ionization detector. Photoelectric detectors usually have a small P on them. And then if you see the words dual sensor, that means your detector contains both ionization and photoelectric technologies. But as you'll see in our test tomorrow night, there is a big difference in how well these detectors work.
Such an important investigation. All right, Jennifer, thank you. It's an investigation you will definitely want to see tomorrow night.